What's happening, my friend? Jomo here. Just wanted to come to you today with some random musings that I have going through my brain. And these have to do with this thing that's happening online, especially in the crypto space, called FUD. Now, if you don't know what FUD is, it's basically, FUD stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's basically any news story that comes out that debunks or invalidates a perspective that one has, particularly in the crypto space. Like if somebody is really into Bitcoin and they see an article that's like, Bitcoin is terrible for the environment. Bitcoin is, a Ponzi scheme. Bitcoin is all of these things that people say about Bitcoin that are like the haters, you could say. So at face value, if you initially say, fuck the FUD, anything that's against the ideas I have in my head are not valid. I think you're approaching dangerous territory because you're not allowing yourself to question your own thoughts and beliefs. And anytime you're in that position, bugs go in your mouth. No. Anytime you're in that position, it's setting you up to be disappointed. You're setting yourself up to be disappointed if you're not looking at the different sides to a coin and a perspective. If you're only looking at heads and you're not looking at tails, then what happens when tails flips and you're unprepared? Basically, yeah, it's only thinking that heads is all there is. And anytime someone's like, well, what about tails? What about tails? You're like, no, there's only heads. Like, of course there's tails. And I don't know what the tails is. Okay, so this is the thing. Nobody knows what the tails is exactly. But you can look and investigate and dig deeper and question, is this real FUD? Is this FUD to be taken seriously, or is it not to be taken seriously? And analyze it and assess it honestly, not through the veil and through the eyes of, the rose-colored glasses that you might be wearing. So this is exactly what it's like in our culture, especially in social media, where there's, people who are up and coming, people who are, YouTube famous or, celebrities online. And anytime they have haters or they're attacked, a lot of the people who support them are like, this person is so much better. You're just coming up with bad news. You're a negative Nancy. Right. So it's like, it's this negativity, right? It's this like aversion to negativity that I think is actually toxic. Aversion to negativity in general, right? I'm not saying that having a positive outlook isn't useful, but when there's negative claims out there that could be valid, but you choose to deny them for the sake of choosing positivity instead of negativity, you're only seeing one side of the coin again, and you're setting yourself up for eventual failure, in my opinion. So I think the point that I'm trying to make here is that as a culture, or not even as a culture, just as individuals, the way that we can adapt to the world that we find ourselves in, where, there's all this crazy positivity or this crazy negativity, is dig deep and search for the truth. Find what is really going on in every scenario, and don't just assume that because you read something somewhere that it's true. So it's like we all have to become investigative journalists to some degree. And I know that's like a tough thing to ask, but maybe there's maybe there's another way that I'm not thinking right now that perhaps you can present to me. But what I really think is the only way that we can find the truth is by searching for it and finding it ourselves. And another thing is that, everyone, in the same way that there's no one diet that fits all people, every person is unique and has a different type of diet that fits them, that meets their needs. And in the same way, there's ideas that fit certain people and ideas that don't fit certain people. So I think the ultimate idea, the ultimate sentiment that I'm trying to get across in this video is become your own truth detective. Become your own truth detective. Okay? Figure out what is true to you, and also figure out what is true in general for the world, right? Because there are universal truths, but there are individual truths. So figure out what the universal truths are as best as you can by digging deep, and figure out as deep as you possibly can. And individual truth, find your own individual truth by digging as deep as you possibly can within yourself. So that's my message to you, is beware of one-sided thinking, only seeing the positive side of things, only seeing, the hopeful, the hopium, the things that are great and beautiful about the world. And that's great to look at what's great and beautiful about the world, but also look at what's horrendous about the world and try and figure out ways that the things that are causing harm in the world can be mitigated and simplified and lessened as much as possible. So don't just look in one direction. Don't put blinders on. I know it's very easy to put blinders on and get into our own echo chambers these days, but be willing to explore beyond your own walls, beyond your own echo chambers, to something greater, something larger. The universe is so big, so massive. We're so much more than what our myopic view allows us to perceive. And so we must be willing to expand our mind, expand our consciousness to more and more, so that we can have a more well-rounded perspective in life. So that's my message to you, that one source of information or one idea wavelength, just focusing on that is gonna lead you down some treacherous paths, because you're gonna be unprepared. I think, as Mike Tyson once said, everyone thinks they know what they're doing until they get punched in the face, or something like that, along those lines. So it's like, you got to be prepared, and you got to see the different sides of the story in order to really come to a well-rounded perspective that will serve you in life. So I'm always learning, I'm always growing, I'm always open to new ideas. If you have any further insights or anything else that you'd like to share along these lines, maybe share a story about something that happened that opened your eyes to maybe the myopic view that you were taking, I think that would be really cool if you left that in the comments. So if you like the video, give it a good old like. And sorry if this video was a little dark. The sun's going down, as you can see in the background. So, yeah, anyway, thanks for tuning in, and hope you're doing well, and I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.